Hey everyone, this is Friedel Hacker Raven. I'm here with my recap and review of Animal Kingdom Season number 6, Episode number 13, which serves as the series finale, and it's titled Fubar, which is basically a term which means that, things are messed up beyond repair. And yeah, full disclosure, I was provided with a free digital screener of the episode for review. The opinions that I've shared are my own. This isn't like a paid sponsored video or whatnot. So I'm just going to say what I feel, and I have to say that even though I liked certain aspects of this episode, I do feel that the final season had a very rushed feeling. I feel that with this being the final season, the episode count should have been extended to at least 15 episodes because there were a lot of story points they just felt rushed. And also another thing that I didn't like is the fact that the series, especially the season finale, they didn't give us a Deran and Adrian reunion, and I do feel, as a fan of the Deran and Adrian ship, I do feel that that was a wrong move. I think that the writers should have done something to give us a reunion of some kind, especially because let's face it, factually, the viewership for Animal Kingdom has been falling when it comes to the live audience numbers, and the Deran and Adrian shippers still stuck with the show. They still stuck with the show for 6 seasons, and I do feel the writers should have done something. The writers should have given us an actual reunion, especially after they ended up mentioning Adrian a lot in the season finale. They should have. That's just my opinion. I think that it just felt wrong, in my opinion, that the writers didn't give anything to the fandom that has been with this show for 6 seasons. Anyway, coming to the episode, it opens up with a very pregnant Julia breaking into the Cody house with this random guy, and of course she needs money, so she's out there stealing money, cutlery, clothes, and everything. And while that's happening, we get to see that Andrew is still in the house. He's in the garage. He's working on making those untraceable bullets, and I was like, "Yep, something is going to happen." And Andrew is going to realize that someone has broken into the house, and that's exactly what happens because the guy that Julia is with, I don't think we ever got his name or whatnot, and we aren't even sure if he's supposed to be Jay's dad. So he ends up seeing these bottles of wine and he tries to steal them, but all because he's high, he falls, the bottle falls, there's a crash, Julia runs to the kitchen and she's like, "What the heck did you do?" And yeah, of course, Andrew comes in, Andrew hits the guy, knocks him down, he grabs Julia, and basically, yeah, he pushes her into the bathroom and he locks her in. So yeah, Andrew has locked Julia in the bathroom, and I was like, yep, I guess Smurf is going to have some words that she wants to say to Julia. So in the present timeline, we get to see that Andrew is being taken to another facility, and yeah, that's where his brothers are going to try and break him out. And while he's being transported, there's this other guy in the bus with him, and I guess he's one of Pete's people, and he's like, "Andrew, do you really think that you're going to be safe in the new facility? No, I'm going to kill you or whatnot. I'm just going to attack you because Pete hasn't forgotten." So Jay is in the car. He's also keeping an eye on the chip that Andrew placed into his abdomen. And yeah, he notices the transportation car drive by with one police car. He ends up sending a message to Deran that, yeah, there's only one police car with 2 police officers, so you guys can handle it. And then we get to see Joshua follow these two. And I was like, yep, Joshua's going to do something, right? Because in the previous episode, we saw that he ended up stealing all of the money, all of those $5 million, and he also did something at the safe house that his uncles were supposed to go to get the weapons and the car. And yeah, we get a scene where Joshua just turns the car around and he drives off, and I'm like, yep, he really wants his uncles to die in this encounter, right? So Greg and Deran are able to stop the bus. And even Andrew plays a role because he kind of distracts the driver so he wouldn't see the nails on the road that Deran and Greg plays. But yeah, even though the police officers are down and Greg and Deran are handling the police officers from that are present in the car, Pete's guy ends up attacking Andrew because he doesn't want Andrew to stay alive, and we get this fight between these two, and Andrew is injured as well. But he is able to save himself by using glass, and he stabs the guy with a broken piece of glass. And Greg and Andrew after taking care of the police officers, they don't kill them, they just shoot the police officers in the leg. They take Andrew out and they're like, we need to go, Andrew, we need to go. And after they have made their way a bit further from that site, from the site where they rescued Andrew, Andrew's like, where the heck is Jay? And I'm like, Jay is up to no good. So in the flashback, we get to see that Janine is back and she is wearing a new hairdo, which is basically reminiscent of what Ellen Barkin's version of Smurf had in the present. In the present, with that bleach blonde hair. And she's like, okay, Andrew, what's up, baby? And Andrew's like, well, Julia's here. I locked her in the bathroom. She's pregnant. And Smurf is like, oh. So we cut to Joshua. He's back at the house and he's cleaning everything up. Basically, he doesn't want anyone to realize that his uncles were there last night. So he's cleaning everything, and also he turns on the TV, and of course the news about Andrew being broken out has hit the TV stations, and Joshua's like, "Yep, that's my cue." So he ends up calling the police, and he ends up snitching on his uncles. And I'm like, Joshua, really? So again, flashback, Bass comes in, he ended up experiencing a successful job, I guess. They made a lot of money, and Janine is like, yep, take 5 stacks for yourself, leave the rest, or maybe it's 5,000, I'm not really sure. And then Bass hears Julia screaming in the bathroom, and Janine is like, yeah, Julia came home, she's in the bathroom, she's pregnant, why didn't you bring that sandwich to her? And she ends up sending Bass with a plate with a sandwich on it to Julia in the bathroom, and Bass just places the sandwich on the floor. He doesn't necessarily talk to her even. He doesn't even acknowledge her. And Julia's like, is that it? Basically, she wants Bass to say something to her about how she is, how she's doing, and why she's pregnant, who the father is. And Bass doesn't care. He does not care. And he just walks out of the bathroom. And then we cut to Craig, Deran, and Andrew looking at the safe house, and they're like, we need to go to the safe house, the cars are there, the weapons are there. Andrew's like, I feel bad about this, I think we need to split, I think we need to run away. And Andrew's like, but no. Deran is like, but no, we need the cars, we can't just run out of the country without a car, Andrew, we have to do this. And yeah, that's what to do. So Penny comes over to the Cody house, and Joshua is very happy because they'll be leaving the country. I think they'll be leaving San Diego tonight, and he just wanted Penny to bring 2 bags. And Penny's like, we're really doing this, Joshua. I couldn't even pack correctly. And Joshua's like, it doesn't matter. If we want something, I'll buy it for you. So why don't you go, relax, have a swim, your suit is there, go. So the bags that Penny brought, he ends up using those bags to hide weapons. There's also money. He also places a picture of his mom in the bag. And yeah, it's time for Joshua to say goodbye. So Andrew is like, hey, do you have a knife, Craig? And he takes a knife from Craig, and he ends up taking out the chip that he installed. And he also, Andrew is suspicious. He's suspicious. He can feel that something has already gone wrong. And he also doesn't like the fact that the tracker that's tracking the chip, that's with Joshua. So while he's busy taking the chip out, Deran goes to the cars, and he notices that all of them had flat tires. Craig goes to the safe house, and he notices that the weapons are gone. And yeah, this is where it hits them. They're like, yep, Joshua betrayed us, we need to leave. And Andrew's like, you know what, we need to leave here right now. So while the uncles are leaving, they're leaving the safe space that they thought that the space was going to be safe for them, but think again. So at the house, Joshua and Penny are like, and Joshua's like, hey Penny, I want you to do me a favor. And Penny's like, what's up? So it turns out that the cops are here because, of course, they know that it's that the rest of the Codys ended up rescuing Andrew. So the cops come, and Joshua basically lies to them. And he's like, my uncles weren't there last night, I have no idea what they're planning, and yada yada yada. And he wants Penny to support him. And Penny, she reluctantly agrees, but she doesn't like it. She does not like it. So as these 3 are trying to run away from the safe house, they realize that the police are after them. They even brought the K9 unit. So they are in trouble. So inside the house, the police are like, okay, so what were you guys doing here? And Penny is like, well, we slept in. I was here. We just slept in. We have no idea what the rest of the coyotes are up to. And the police officer gives Joshua his card, and he's like, hey, contact me if your uncles contact you. And Joshua is like, why? Why would my uncles do that? And the police officer is like, yeah, sure. And he leaves. And again, Penny is visually uncomfortable. So the guys end up finding this house. So no one's in there. I think but their pets are outside. So maybe they'll be coming back soon. So anyway, they break into the house and they're like, okay, so I guess we'll need to hold the line. We need to figure out something. And yeah, Deran is losing his. Deran is like, I trusted Joshua. I trusted Joshua. And Andrew Craig is like, hey, all of us trusted Joshua, okay? And he looks at Deran. Andrew looks at Deran and he's like, Deran, girl. You need to get your head in the game, okay? Okay, we are doing this. We need to figure out how we're going to handle the situation. So in the flashback, Julia is sitting in one of her brother. I think it's her own room, but this room is now Craig's. I could be wrong. And she's on the bed. She's pregnant. Andrew walks in, and Andrew is like, "Yeah, Smurf threw out all of your stuff last year." And he ends up saying that he ends up asking who the dad is. Is it Baz? And Julia's like, you know what, Andrew? I have no idea who the dad is. It could be Baz. It could not be Baz. I have no idea. And Andrew's like, well, you need to go outside. Smurf's calling you. She wants to talk. So the guys end up trying to figure out if there's some sort of transportation that they can use. But no, there's no car, but there is a bike, but it can only fit two of them. And this is where Andrew's like, well, I'll stay here while you and Deran run away. And Craig and Deran is like, no, we aren't going to leave you. We're going to do this together. And Andrew's like, no. We have no other option. Take the bike, run away. I'll distract the cops, and I'll meet you later. And I was like, wait, is Andrew really going to die here? But no, that doesn't happen. And of course, the brothers they realize what Andrew wants them to do. But even though they don't want to do that, they have to accept their fate. So Deran and Craig, they take the bike, they run away, while Andrew gets ready to distract the cops and shoot at them, basically making his last stand. And he's like, well, if I die here, I die here. So Joshua and Penny are in the kitchen, and Penny is like, Joshua, why did you lie to the police? You really knew what your uncles were up to, right? And Joshua's like, no, I didn't know. And Penny is like, you know what, Joshua, I feel uncomfortable, okay? I don't think I should be going with you. And Joshua's like, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't want to leave with me? And Penny's like, no. I'm in way over my head. I don't feel safe. I feel scared. And Joshua, I don't want to leave. And Joshua's like, you love me, don't you? And Penny's like, yeah. I love you, Joshua, but this life isn't for me, okay? I need to go. I can't go with you. And I was like, yep, Penny just signed her death warrant right there. Joshua is not going to let this slide. So Janine ends up talking to Julia. Julia's like, thank you for taking care of me. And Janine is like, yeah, sure, whatever you say. And she also thanks Janine for not calling the cops. And Janine is like, what, do you really think that I was going to call the cops and have you imprisoned and have you give birth to a baby in jail? Yeah, that's not something that I ever thought of doing. So Greg walks in, and Greg is like, hey, Julia, you do know that you aren't getting your old room back, right? And Ginny is like, hey, baby, don't worry. Ginny, she's just visiting. She'll leave soon. And Andrea's just sitting there in the back. So Janine takes out $40, and she hands them to Julia. And Julia's like, no, I need help. I need actual help, Smurf. And Smurf is like, hey, this is the only amount of money that you're ever going to get from me. So just take it and good luck. And Andrew's like, no. He finally stands up for his sister. He stands up and he's like, she needs rehab, mom. She needs rehab. And Smurf is like, yeah, as if that worked out previously, right? Don't you remember how that worked out? It's a waste of money. And Julia's like, no, I'll do it for the baby, okay? I'm serious this time. And Janine is like, okay, I'll make some calls. So over at the Cody residence in the present, Joshua takes out these drugs from the freezer. He mixes them in the drink that he's preparing with Penny. And I'm like, yep, oh Penny, she is going to be murdered right now. And yeah, both of them sit by the poolside, and this is where Penny is like, Joshua, I appreciate everything that you did for me, but I do need you to realize that I won't tell anyone. And Joshua is like, I know. And the way he said that, it was so ominous. He's like, yeah, he has a point. He's like, well, Penny, you won't be able to say anything to anyone because you'll be dead. So Andrew ends up going guns a-blazing with a shotgun. He shoots at the police officers, and miraculously, he doesn't get shot by the police officers. And also, he ends up shooting the police officers that are in front of him. There's also another team that shoot after Craig and Deran. So, yeah, all of the Codys have made their escape. They're okay now. So Deran and Craig are like, you know what, Deran, because Deran is hurt a bit, he's like, maybe a bullet grazed him, I'm not really sure, but he's like, you know what, we need a first aid kit, we also need money, we also need transportation. So they end up robbing this local shop, and this is where things turn bad. They turned so bad. So as Deran is robbing the person, the shopkeeper's son, he comes out, he has a gun, and he basically shoots Craig, and I'm like, oh no, Craig, oh no. And Deran points the gun at the kid, and everyone is begging, yeah, even Craig, the shopkeeper, both of them are begging for Deran not to shoot the kid, and I'm like, Deran, don't shoot the kid. Do not shoot the kid. And yeah, Deran doesn't do that. The kid runs away. Deran picks up Craig, the money and everything, and they get out of the, he drags Craig out of the shop, and I'm like, oh no, Craig is going to die, isn't he? Craig is going to die. And I kind of knew that he was going to die, I guess, especially after he proposed to Ren in the previous episode. So after confirming that Penny is really dead, he ends up, Joshua ends up breaking down, he's crying and everything, and I'm like, really, Joshua, really? The way that Joshua is crying over Penny, it makes no sense to me, because again, he seems to be in love with her, and I'm like, Joshua, in his own twisted way, and I'm like, Joshua, really? You don't even know this woman that well, right? So while that's happening, Joshua has no idea that Andrew survived, and he's making his way to the Cody residence. He's beaten up, but he's making his way there. He is making his way there. So Andrew does come, he does arrive at the house, and he notices Penny, she's dead, and yeah, he ends up hearing Joshua going berserk inside the house. He's breaking everything, he's just angry, and Andrew's like, yep, I need to go and teach Joshua a lesson. So he basically grabs Joshua and he knocks him out, and I'm like, yep, even though Joshua is a murderer, he's not that much of a hand-to-hand fighter. So even though Andrew is injured, Joshua couldn't handle his uncle. So again, flashback, Andrew and Julia think that Smurf is taking them to the rehab center, and while they're on their way, Andrew asks when the baby will be born, and Julia's like, well, I guess he's due in 2 months, and I'm going to name him Joshua, or J for short, and you're going to be an Uncle Andrew, and do you want to feel him? And Andrew feels Julia's tummy and everything. And then the car stops, and this is, we'll get to that in a bit. So in the flashback, Andrew has Joshua all tied up to a chair next to the pool, and I'm like, yep, he's going to push him into the pool, isn't he? And Andrew's like, why would you do this, Joshua? Why would you betray us? Why would you want my brothers to die? And this is where Joshua tries to lie to him. He's like, I had heat, I had to come back to the house, I was going to warn you and everything. And Andrew's like, no, lies. And he looks at Joshua, and Joshua realizes that his lies aren't going to work on Andrew, so Joshua tells him the truth. Joshua looks at Andrew, and he's like, because I did all of this because you deserve it. All of you deserve this for what you did to my mom. And that really gets to Andrew, but yeah, Andrew's like, He pushes Joshua into the pool, and I'm like, is Joshua really going to die in the series finale? I mean, I would have been okay with it, but he somehow survives. So again, the flashback, Julia and Andrew realizes that, Janine isn't taking Julia to rehab. She ends up taking her to a place where there are a whole lot of drug addicts around. She turns around, she hands Julia some money, and she's like, Julia, this is the last amount of money that you and your B son, B-A-S-T, the word, are ever going to get from me. Now get out. And I was like, if I remember correctly, I think that Janine still ended up sending Julia and Joshua a bit of money. She was still kind of taking care of them. I could be wrong with paying rents and everything. Again, I could be wrong. If I'm not really sure if I remember correctly. But yeah, she's like, you know what? I'm not going to waste any more money on you by making you go to rehab, Julia. It's not going to work. So she wants Julia to get out of the car, and Julia is like, Andrew, come with me. We need you. Come with me. And yeah, Janine takes out a gun. She points the gun at Julia, and she's like, no, Andrew, you stay. Julia, get out. And of course, Julia gets out. And she's still begging for Andrew to come with her. And Andrew kind of looks like, that he might join his sister. And Janine is like, okay, baby, if you want to go, just make sure that there's no turning back. If you get out of the car, you're basically walking away from the family. So make up your mind. And yeah, this is where she realizes that Andrew isn't going to leave her, so she asks Andrew to come and sit with her in the front. And yeah, it's just bad. It's just bad. So while Joshua is being drowned, Andrew is having an existential crisis again. He's confused. He feels guilty for what he did to Julia and how he didn't stand up for her when she needed him the most. And then he's out there basically drowning her son, his nephew. And yeah, Andrew gets out of the car. He walks towards the front of the car, and this is where again Julia begs Andrew to stay with them, her and her unborn child. But yeah, Andrew doesn't. He just sits in the front of the car with Janine, and they drive off. But yeah, Andrew's like, you know what, I can't take this anymore. So he dives into the pool and he rescues Joshua. And yeah, this is where Andrew's like, Joshua, I feel so guilty. I feel so guilty for what I did. Julia wanted me to be the strong one. She wanted me to always act normal, but I was the weak one. I wasn't strong enough for my sister. I couldn't help her when she needed me the most. And as Joshua is trying to stabilize himself, this is where Joshua is like, well, she loved you. She never stopped loving you, Andrew. She loved all of you, and you did nothing for her. None of you did anything for her. And it's all on you. And again, Joshua is basically making Andrew continue to feel guilty. And yeah, Andrew does feel guilty. But Andrew's like, you know what, Joshua? You know what? Just go. And Joshua does. Joshua runs away. And while that's happening, Deran is trying to take Greg to Mexico to get him patched up. And Greg is like, you know what, Deran, we won't be able to make it. And Deran's like, no. It's just an hour drive. We'll make it. Just don't fall asleep. And Greg is like, just stop. Just stop the car, Deran. Just stop the car. I'm dying. So Andrew is just walking around the house. He kind of remembers how he was like after they left Julia. And yeah, he wasn't into eating dinner, but Janine was acting as if nothing wrong happened. She was serving food, and she was like, Andrew, eat your dinner, baby, eat your dinner. And Andrew's like, yep, I need to end this. I need to put an end to all of this. So he ends up spilling a whole lot of, what do you call it? What do you call it? Oh no, I forgot. But anyway, he ends up oil, petrol, I guess, gasoline. I'm not really sure. I am blanking right now. But he ends up basically spilling all of that around the house. He goes to Smurf's room. He takes out a lighter and he starts the fire by lighting Smurf's room, her bed, which makes sense, which is because Smurf is the root of all of the issues that this family has. And he walks outside. At first I was like, is he going to burn himself to death? But no, he walks outside, he sits by the pool, he looks at a very old picture of his mom and his twin sister while everything is burning around him, and he is coughing out blood. He's losing blood, and yeah, Andrew just dies. He just dies by the side of the pool. Again, if this show comes back, maybe someone was able to save Andrew. Maybe he's not really dead. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a continuation, a spin-off of some kind. I'm not really sure. But as far as I can tell, I think as of now, Andrew is supposed to be dead while the entire house burns around him. So Deran takes Greg to this cliff because Greg wanted to see the ocean for the very last time before he dies. And Deran's like, it's beautiful, isn't it? Greg is like, yeah, it's really beautiful. And then as Greg is dying, he mentions Nick and Ren, and they're just like, hey, Greg, don't worry about it. I promise you that I'll raise Nick as if he was my own, and I'll take care of Ren. And yeah, this is where Greg dies, and Deran says goodbye to his brother. And because he's still running away from the cops, he can't really bury his brother's body correctly. And I'm like, okay, so you're telling me that Greg's future is basically trying to reconnect with Adrian and raising Nick. I guess that works. I guess, but again, I really hope. The writers should have given us a proper reunion between Adrian and Deran. This should have. Like Deran and Adrian again. Deran and Adrian fans, shippers. They stuck with this show for 6 seasons. Like, come on, writers. Come on. Maybe they couldn't get the actor to come back. Who knows what happened? Maybe a simple call, just Deran calling Adrian. and Adrian saying hello. Something, just they should have given us something. So the episode basically ends with Joshua. I think some time has passed. He's just enjoying all of the money. I guess I think he's supposed to be where, in Singapore or something, or Malaysia. I'm not really sure. Yeah, he's out of the United States, and he's just enjoying himself. But yeah, he's lonely. He got his money, he got his revenge, he got everything. But by the end of it all, he's lonely. He is lonely. So again, of course, after what's been happening in the previous 2-3 episodes, there are fans who think that Joshua might end up getting a spin-off. Who knows? I'm not really sure. But as far as the Codys are concerned, I guess only how many Codys are left? Joshua, Nick, and Deran. They're still alive. Lena is basically Baz's child, and Baz isn't necessarily genetically a Cody, but I don't really think that she counts. But yeah, the Codys are still alive. There are still 3 Codys out there, and Deran is still out there. So I highly doubt that we will be getting a spin-off. Who knows? But yeah, by the end of this show, Deran is still alive, and I think that Deran is alive because I think he was way too young. He was way too young to understand what was really happening between Julia and Smurf. Because in this episode, we kind of saw Greg being very, very mean towards Julia. Or basically not mean per se, but very uncaring towards Julia. Telling her that she can't come back, and if she does come back, she won't be getting her room. But during that timeline, Deran was very, very young. So I kind of understand where the writers were going with that. That Deran was too young to understand what was really happening. So that's why he didn't necessarily get to face a lot of consequences. But then again, Deran did lose his brothers. So there's that. But he's still alive. But anyway, I will be doing a written reviews for the Geeky Edit. The link to that will be down in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought. So let me know what you thought of the episode. And again, I liked the finale, but I do feel that everything felt a bit too rushed, and we should have gotten a proper Deran and Adrian reunion. But yeah, until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. See you guys later. Bye.